Hi. Okay, take two. My phone wouldn't do the video in the time that I needed to do this video in. So back to the laptop, and hopefully it will be much clearer. So take two. Hi, I'm Mrs. C of Creighton's Custom Creations, or C3, and I'm just coming today because making a video because I think it would be a lot easier for me to do videos than write stuff out at the moment. I wrote a big long post on Facebook in Clan Creighton Wainwright already, and now I'm really tired. So, what caused such a long post to be written? Well, in that group on Facebook, we were asked if we could do some more chainmail dice bags for a friend that had requested them last year, and we had done 4. We managed to get 4 of the order done for him, and he was rather happy. And it had been mentioned at the time that he would like more done in the future. Well, in everything that's been going on in our lives, I hadn't really processed that this year we would be asked again to do these bags. So no prep was made for it. So the friend hadn't mentioned it until the other day that he would be interested in having them made. He has asked us, or had asked us, to do 10 more bags. Unfortunately, we're having to turn down that order. It's not an order that can be done in a timely fashion, and after much conversing with Mr. C and going round and round a bit, we decided that not this year, not next year, that if this person wanted those chainmail bags, they would have to wait until 2021. And it would be March 2021, because our work year for C3 more or less runs March 1st to October 31st, with October, so that should actually be September 30th, because October is our finish up month. Hunting season is in November, which leaves Kirk no time whatsoever for outside projects, and he's still holding his job despite dialysis, which is an amazing thing. But it does leave November with no time for him to be working on projects. And November is also craft fair sales here in Wainwright. There's 3 or 4 of them. So I also need October to finish up and get ready for those. Then we take Christmas off, December off because of Christmas, and I finish up any family gifts that I might be doing. And then we have January is a definite push to try and get things finished up for February, which is Art Fest here in Wainwright, usually at the end of the month. So it gives us about a month and a half to get ready, to finish getting ready for that. Any projects that we may have been doing over the year for that. So that means the actual work period for C3, because at this moment it is a hobby business. It's not just a hobby, it's a hobby business. The year runs March 1st to September 30th. It's a very short period of time for us to get stuff in, and we're taking a real big chance of trying to grow this with such a short period of time. But anyways, back to the bags. Each chainmail bag, we discovered after doing those previous 4, cannot be done on a rushed order, which is what we did. The friend wanted 5 originally, and we set a deadline. We thought we could fulfill it. It couldn't. There was just not enough time to. Excuse me. And we were very stressed out in trying to do that. So heads up to small business people out there, when you are trying to do stuff, bear in mind the time it takes to do things, and don't overbook yourself, and learn the power of no. No, I do not have time to make this commitment. Because when you're doing something like we do, you're making a promise to the person. You know, you said you're going to make the product, and that you are going to finish the product, and in exchange for money that you give to these people. Well, when we did those before, managed to get those floors done, we were running right down to the wire, we were even late. We were supposed to go drop them off at a certain time, and we ran over. And we ran out of some materials too. So, Kirk and I made a promise to each other that we weren't going to do that ever again. And so when we got offered up these 10, I went to him, he went, no, and then I went, but, and he's like, and I went, oh yeah, okay, yeah, right, and we went round and round. We actually had about a 3-hour conversation about doing these chainmail bags. We even, we were asked if we could maybe do 2, you know, and have them ready for May of 2020 next year. Excuse me. And that prompted the go to Tim Hortons and make a list. It ended up being 3 lists of everything we have planned or need to do and finish in the foreseeable future into probably next year, because if health stuff comes along, stuff gets pushed back. And so that means that just like last year, the renos upstairs did not get done. The renos this year need to be done. Kirk is feeling better. I'm happy to say that Mr. C is feeling better on dialysis. But we're still learning the ins and outs, and there are some sleepless nights when the cycler sends alarms off and wakes us both up. And my own health has slipped a lot, even over the last year has slipped a lot. I'm happy to say I have a neurologist appointment on April 26th, so coming up very fast, in almost a week here. And I'm excited about that and terrified at the same time, because I'm, you know, I've been feeling so horrible for 2 years now that it's going to probably be very anticlimactic. I'm worried he's actually going to tell me I have MS, or possibly something worse, or he's going to tell me that there's nothing wrong with me, it's all in my head. So trying not to play those mind games, and hopeful that, yeah, there's a name for what's going on with me. And better medication than half a muscle relaxant and half a tramadol, which is hopped up Tylenol mixed with something else, and which make me rather dozy and stoned sometimes, especially if I end up taking my apps too close together. I'm sensitive to medication like that. So, but I digress. Okay, back to the bags. Now that both of us are not feeling 100%, so to guarantee anything in a shortened time period, depending on what it is, or even a long period, we can't guarantee that. We do appreciate everybody's ideas and patience, and we do hope that people will ask us to, can you please make? But I also hope that people will have a bit of understanding that sometimes some things just can't be met when you want it. We as handcrafters are not McDonald's. We can't just flop these things out. We are not a factory where things can be flopped out. The one thing that I could flop out sort of at a factory pace was painting, and I no longer do that anymore because it gives me headaches trying to concentrate. My hand shakes too much to do the fine details. So any paint work I might be doing at the moment is very easy and not very detail orientated, or will take me an extremely long time to produce. So these bags, these chainmail bags, have an inner fabric liner that protect dice from getting scratched or worn against the chainmail liner that goes on the outside of that fabric. Okay, and then the leather is put on top of the two of them. So what it is it's the game had in it these coin purses that were theft proof, so that a thief couldn't come along and cut the bottom of the bag and the coins would fall out. Great idea. It was awesome to come up with that and figure out how we could put it into practice into today, you know, with our stuff, because Kirk does do chainmail. However, it's not as easy to put it all together as it might sound, and the chainmail itself is quite time-consuming to sit and do. So we discovered in doing the 4 in the rush, what ended up being a rush order, it takes about a month, month and a half, maybe 2 months, depending on what is going on in our lives at the moment. So it's just not something that you should plan on doing hurriedly or in a timely fashion. Chainmail is not hard to do. I've watched lots of people on my husband's one group on Facebook, and you know, they sit down and they've made this necklace pendant, or they've done this or they've done that, but they've also said how long it took them to do it. And in doing my crochet, that itself has really given me an idea about how long things take and how long you need to really budget for things to get them done, to allow yourself to get them done. Like, okay, so like this shawl that I've made, it's based on a pattern that Crystal on Bago Crochet did, and it takes me I can sit down, and if I'm not doing anything else, it takes me less than a week to do it. But when I did my shawl order for another friend of ours, I allowed 2 weeks for the making of it, because where I don't care if I have ends poking out or I make a mistake, and I can just crochet over it. Both Kirk and I have a sense of quality when it comes to our work. And I wanted to have room just in case I didn't feel good. And I made mistakes and had to recount. I had to take something out. They call it frogging, because you rip it. But just in case I had to, I miscounted, and I had to take all of it apart, even though it's an easy pattern, and a great pattern for somebody who's wanting to learn to crochet. It's a very, very easy. I wish I had the tutorial number right off the top of my head, but I don't. It was Bago Crochet, a bit of a yarn review of Shawl in the Ball. And Crystal made a shawl out of that ball of yarn from Lion Brand. So if you went to Bago Crochet and popped up that page, and you pushed on the little magnifying glass, so that's the search, and put in Lion Brand Shawl in the Ball, it should the whole that video should pop up for you. Yes, great starter project. I'm sorry the table's a little wobbly. Copper's down on the other side and the bottom, and he's wanting some attention. anyways, with these bags, they're very time consuming, which means any other projects that Kirk and I had planned or need to be doing around the house, such as the renos upstairs, would have to be put on hold again. That's not in our plans this year. And so the feeling is we would love everybody to still follow us, because I'm still making videos. I will be on here showing what we're doing. I've got planned to make the teacups that Crystal has on her page, plus in the future more of her crochet squares into wall hangings. Got some plans for that, because then that will kill two birds with one stone. It'll help me have materials, items for sale at the Art Fest in 2020, which we're both looking forward to attending. It's just kind of sad because at about $100 a bag, to lose 10 of them is quite a hit in the pocketbook. But this time, Mr. C and I have decided a pocketbook isn't going to rule what needs to be done in our lives. We're not going to add another stressful something in on top of where both of us are sitting. So I'm sorry, but that order, we can't fill that order. And a bit of a lesson learned for both of us on a couple of fronts. One is time management is important, that things put off are important to finish, that no is a good thing. Knowing one's limit is also a good thing. So all of those help to keep a small business type thing a little bit more manageable than if we had tried to do that. Because we were looking at 10 months anyways to a year before we could get the whole order done, and then discovered that we didn't even have time to do the 2, because we were asked if we could do two by 2020, and the answer was no. And it is because you have to sit there and do the chainmail. You can't really do anything else. Chainmail is time consuming, and it is just me and Mr. C. Maybe in the future, maybe we could put that as one of the things that we do, is have him teach. You know, have people come and learn to make some chainmail, something or other. I'm certainly looking forward to having a better learned response to it. He did show me a little bit quite a while ago, a few years back, but I haven't been a real part of the chain making, that end of things. Yeah, I'm starting to wander here a little bit much. So, yeah, as a small business person, know your limits. If it's a hobby business, allow for the lack of the pressure of this is your income to dictate your ability to say, no, I do not have time to do this, because otherwise I will not have time to spend with my husband, my kids, my wife, my friends. A hobby job is just supposed to either support what you're doing so you don't have to take out of your other money to go buy materials, or it just bring in a little bit extra cash because it's something you do to keep busy and keep happy, help keep you happy. And I love crochet, so I'm hoping to monopolize on both ends, and I'm trying to grow my end of the business here via crochet. So when I took a look at my schedule of what I want and what I want to be doing, I had to know, because this year, starting in July, I have a plan to make a dress for my female mannequin we named Barbie, to more or less to go with the chainmail hauberk that the male mannequin Ken wears for showing at ArtFest. So a lot of our time this year is going to be spent staging, on staging displays work and stuff for that ArtFest. We need to do that. That's our advertising. So small projects that may seem small when you look at it, that in reality are actually rather large. I just don't have time for it. Now, having said that, if you would like anything crochet, or if someone wants something crocheted, there is the possibility that I have time to kind of slide it in. I usually end up having upwards of 4 different crochet projects anyways, because it's hard to focus singularly on one crochet project at a time. Excuse me. Like something like that dress is going to be very sort of routine in its making. I haven't quite decided on what I'm doing, but if I do it simply single crochet to get a nice tight weave and that kind of thing, or if I decide to knit it, it's going to take a while and get boring So I will need other projects to kind of throw in the mix with that. And I do have a bunch. I keep adjusting what I'm doing for Christmas because sometimes I get way ambitious. So, and I am currently working on something for a friend that's like a big sister to me for Christmas. I finished up some Easter eggs for my niece and her brother and sister and her mother and her fiance and my niece's fiance. Managed to get those done. I also did some as a thank you to the lady who was a friend of the family of Kirk's, who took us in while we were learning about his to do his dialysis at the end of March there. So she got 6 of those. I have a bunch left over. I'm not sure what I'm doing with those now. I had hoped to sell them, but I've been so tired. I haven't been on. So one of the things that I would like to do is videotape Kirk teaching me how to do chainmail. I think that would be a lovely tutorial and give everybody an appreciation as to how much time and energy it goes. And we potentially will do from start to finish, from making the chain, the coils, sorry, the coiled up rolls from the wire, to splitting those all apart and then making sure they're set properly. Potentially then we were looking at throwing those in the rock polisher, because it made them so smooth and the steel ones so shiny for the keychains that I think it would be great to do it for other chainmail projects as well. We're hoping to get in the garage and get that all sorted out as well, and get back to him forging. He's got some projects he needs to finish up there. And it's every little bit of those things that when we were writing down the list, we're going, good, wow. You know, and it did influence the decision to not undertake any of that chainmail bag project at all. He thought maybe he might next year, but if he has another time where he's just not feeling well, it just puts things off. And we like to have a commitment to quality in our projects when we do them, and either give them to somebody for a gift or we sell them. So yes, lessons learned. Time management is important. Quality control is important. What? Hi, why don't you come up? Come up. Come up, Cover. Come on. Come on. There's the buddy. There's the buddy. Anyways, so yes. So yes, we love and appreciate everybody who supports us. And we give thanks that they're there to help us out and get us going with this. What we just have to say at this time, as far as a business goes, this is staying a hobby business. And maybe in 2021 we'll be in a better place to actually get things going as a business, where we'll have more time. So remember, life is a craft. Life is a craft project. May it be fun. Let it be fun. Peace, love, and happiness. And hope your Easter weekend is a fabulous one. Bye.